Hi everyone, Cassius here, and today we're going to go over the build I used for Seelah in my unfair playthrough. See, she's a level 18 paladin and a level 2 vivisectionist, and for all of the stat points I dumped them into charisma when leveling her. Her saves with this build, with the guarded hearth, while standing in guarded hearth, are ridiculously high to the point where she will make every save unless she rolls a 1. Knowledge world, persuasion, and mobility for her class skills. When you get her, she starts with dodge and shield focus, which is fine. That's alright. Level 2, we get Divine Grace, which really helps her saves. This is continuing as Paladin for now. In fact, Paladin's going to go all the way up until level 11 or 12. At level 3, we get Improved Initiative to make sure that we can go as early as possible. I try and get this as early as I can on most of the characters that I play with. Unfair. On level 5, we get Outflank. This is when the build starts to come together. And level 7, we get to Combat Reflexes to make sure that she can hit as many of these outflank attacks opportunity as possible. I started off with Fatigued for my mercies, and then I went over to Diseased with my second one. This is one that I didn't use that much, so I think it's very easy to change this out for something else if you think that's going to be more common. At level 9 Mercy, I went with Exhausted, because it's just really useful to be able to remove exhaustion. And I went with Improved Critical Scimitar here. So as you can see, I did not stick with Longsword for her. I went with Scimitar instead for the high crit range. Level 11, I went with Weapon Focus Scimitar. And at level 11, I also got this super useful ability, Mark of Justice. Now, what is also kind of surprising, though, is this did not get used nearly as much as I was expecting it to need to be used. This might have something to do with the fact that I was playing through as an Aeon, and so the Aeon was also providing a buff to the entire party, and he was going before her, and so, or most of the game anyway, and so he was able to go up there and kill things before she even was needed to get Mark of Justice out. So, while this is easily one of the best abilities, I just didn't use it as much as I thought I was going to. Level 12, got the Mercy for Confusion, to get rid of Confusion. Level 13, she got Dazzling Display as well as her 4th level spell. It is at this point, I believe, I don't remember exactly, so it is either at level 12 or level 14, where I took 2 levels in Alchemist and Vivisectionist, specifically so I could get the Cognitogen at level 15. This makes it so that she can use the mutagen for her charisma to buff her charisma even further, so that way the Mark of Justice ability is even more powerful. I haven't even used it yet on this one, so if I were to use that ability, then she would have plus 14 to her charisma check, which this would be give plus 14 to attack rolls for all of the allies, plus 14 sacred bonus to AC, because I have the item that increases it to sacred instead of deflection, and also a plus 18 to damage. So very, very useful to go down there. Just a 2-level dip in here. I would recommend waiting until you get Mark of Justice before you do that, because otherwise you're just delaying how useful she can be to the party. At level 15, you get Shatter Defenses. And once you get to level 15 Paladin, I went with Paralyzed, and then level 18 Paladin, I got Blinded for the Mercies. Again, most of the time you're not going to need a lot of these because the status effects aren't going to affect your characters, but choose which ones you think will be most useful to you. At level 17, I went with Boon Companion. Make sure the horse got as high level as possible, because Alchemist Vivisectionist does not get you those. And level 19, Blind Fight. This is one of those, whenever I see it, I could have taken it earlier, but she really doesn't have a whole lot of room for feats. So I guess I could have waited for Combat Reflexes and put that over there, but that would have made her less useful in the Attacks of Opportunity phase. Can't really skip Improved Critical, and you're going to need these 3. Want to get then? You could probably delay Boon Companion to level 19 if you want, but yeah, it's kind of a hard spot to fit Blind Fight in. For her mythic abilities, I'm with Last Stand, Ever Ready, and Inspirational Leader at 3rd level. Then for the mythic feat, I went Improved Initiative at level 4. This could be taken earlier if you want, but 4 seems appropriate. It seemed to work out. Mythic Beast at rank 5 to make her horse as more powerful as possible. Improved Critical Scimitar at level 6 to make her do as much damage as she can. Then I got Enduring and Great Enduring spells for the last of those two. Abundant Smite at rank 9 and Leading Strike at rank 10. If I were to change some things up, I would probably move Leading Strike up a little bit. Maybe upwards rank 7, possibly, and move these 3 down. Abundant Smite, I didn't find myself using Mark of Justice as much as I thought I would, so this can go down a little bit, or I can stay there. Enduring and Greater Enduring, the only real reason I would get these is for the Divine Grace that she can cast on people to give them the huge buffs. And with this party, I've got a good aligned Arushale, Ember, and Seelah, who all have decent charisma bonuses. She has a really good, and so does she. So they get huge bonus to their saves. So it's worthwhile to have as long lasting for that as possible. But as far as the mythic feats, these are the only 2 that she really needs, the Improved Initiative and the Improved Critical. Because she's not really doing as much damage as others in this party. She's more facilitating the attacks opportunity with her scimitar. And Improved Initiative to help facilitate that further, to get the buffs out and to get in range to help get those attacks opportunity out. Same thing with Ever Ready. Last Stand at level 1 might be a little bit early, but again, it is unfair. So, and I did find uses for this. So it was useful. So I'm not going to say don't take it at level 1. Inspirational Leader. I always think that someone in your main party should have this. +1 bonus to initiative and +2 mind saving throws against mind affecting spells. Very useful. I gave it to her because she didn't really need that many mythic feats. That's about it. As for some of the items that we found particularly useful for her, I had Dawnflower's Kiss, which you can get in Elocutable Prison. This one gives a +1 or +4 bonus to attack rolls and also an additional attack once you get a critical hit. So very useful for, again, just more opportunities to get those attacks opportunity in. Aroden's Wrath that you can find in Chapter 3. This is the item that will change your AC bonus with your Smite Evil from Deflection to Sacred, so exceptionally useful. And also, half of the pair. This will provide Circumstance bonus to AC and attack rolls, especially if you give it to her horse. The other half to the horse, which is what I did. The rest of the gear is mostly whatever you want to give to her to make her more useful. So I gave her something like this at the end of the game. Give her more initiative, and for the most of the game, this was on my main character to make sure he went as early as possible. Saves, Ring of Devastating Will, Righteous Crusader's Ring to give her more Smite Evil, so that kind of thing. As for the horse build, I focused mostly on dexterity with him when leveling up, but his AC isn't really that affected. I've noticed it isn't as high as it could be, so if you wanted to go with strength instead, I can see that. But really it was dodge, combat reflexes. I probably would have put this a little bit later, if I'm being honest, going forward, because I wanted to focus on him being a tank instead of this, so this probably should have been put down here somewhere. Then got improved on arm strike, crane style, crane wing, outflank, shake it off, crane riposte, seize the moment, and blind fight. In fact, I would probably swap out combat reflexes with blind fight and move them around, just because it makes it so he's not susceptible to some of those gaze attacks, which is just useful. You'll notice that the horse does not have shadow defense as a dazzling display or even weapon focus. It's because he's hugely focused on being a tank. So it's just one of those things that he's less useful in terms of doing damage and more useful just getting up there quick as possible and tanking things. And that's his role. Anyway, that would be my build for Seelah for my unfair playthrough. I hope you found it informational, and if you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and leave them down in the comments section below. I would love to hear them from you. And until I see you again, have a good one, y'all. Later.